Hello everyone, it's me, Coffee Stitcher. How are y'all? Awesome, that's really good to hear. Mm. Alright, well it is the next to last Sunday in March, which is a little hard to believe. Um, so we've got yes. Alright, so we've got whip updates, we've got a new start, um, we've got at least today's plans, we've got a little bit of quilting updates, we've got some Q&A, and one tiny little scotch of haul. There will probably be more haul next week. Yes. So, diving right on in to the Q&A. The first question comes from Rose City Stitcher. She says she just bought the Mary Englebright kit that I've got started. Did I use the kit fabric or did I change it out for something else? And yes, I did change it for something else. I'm using Orchid from Fiber on a Whim. Because I didn't want to stitch all the pink. That was the entire reason for that. However, it is going to force me to have to do something in the center panel where the half stitches are to make that look right. So that may have ended up being a mistake. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Chelsea Olesh asks, so I remember you mentioning not to wash a project if you're using silks, and you probably said why, but I don't remember the answer. Sorry. So, why should you not wash a project with silks, and is it okay to iron a project after it's finished? I don't ever wash any of my stuff when it's done. I'm real careful not to eat or drink or do things. Well, I'll drink, but I'm careful to make sure my hands are clean when I'm working. Silks, because of the nature of them, I think they're a little less color fast. I honestly don't remember at this point. I don't personally wash and I don't personally iron unless I've got like a major crease or something. Because if you're going to frame something, the framer, in the process of getting it straightened out and pinned or laced or whatever your framer does, is going to pull the wrinkles out. Again, unless it's just a really tight crease. If you are going to iron, I believe the recommendation is to put it between two towels and face down. I believe that's how you're supposed to do that. But, like I said, I don't iron. At least I don't iron and cross-stitch. I do in quilting. And for some reason, my iron keeps getting this stuff on it. I don't know if it's just because it's an old iron or what I'm doing wrong. I do know the steam feature does not work. That was an unmitigated disaster when I tried that. So, I probably need to invest in a better iron, but I invested in a new sewing machine first. So, which I can't really show you terribly easily, but it's fabulous and sexy, and I've named it Hyacinth. Nickel Gray, thank you, or Nicole. I'm guessing it's Nicole since you're the images, or your little screen person is female. That is good to know that it's pronounced batik and not batik. I actually have never heard it pronounced before. So, batik. I can remember that. Gee Whiz asks, has a question about Krynic. She says, I'm working on a project that has silk right next to the Krynic. I'm concerned the scratchy Krynic will fray the quilt, or fray the silk. Which thread should I stitch first? I always do Krynic last. Unless, like I said, I think I said last week, unless it's one of those things that the only way to continue working is to do the Krynic first. or in the middle. So my general preference is to still do the Kryonic last, really, unless you're working on something like Tudor silk or something that's already really, really, really fine. You're not gonna the amount of friction you're gonna get off of it isn't gonna do too much to this, at least the surface part of the stitches. So you're really gonna be fairly safe. But like I said, if it's a Tudor silk that's already super, super fine, then you might consider, instead of doing Kryonic, doing like Petite Treasure Braid, or their Sparkle Braid line. They're a little bit thinner, and a little tighter together, so they're not as scratchy. I don't want to say they're softer, but they're less fibery, I guess. But that would be my suggestion there. All right. Robin B asks, have you made a small quilt yet? I'm working on my first one. I've got, and I'll show y'all in a sec, but I've got my first one started. And I'm really enjoying it, especially now that I have the newer machine. So let's go into the haul. So my haul this week was my my fabric of the month. It's a monthly order. Sorry, Christian, didn't mean to make y'all do a weekly club. God, can you imagine? This one, I'm doing the opal one. This one is called 5 Carat, and I'm doing the 32 count even weave. So it's a nice, sunny, sparkly yellow, and I really, really love it. When the description, and when the picture went out, I thought it was going to be more gold. And so instead it's this beautiful, bright, like, sunny, sunny yellow. So I don't know what to put on it. I feel like it needs something flowery, maybe? I don't know. But it's pretty as hell. As is all of their fabrics, because they're awesome. Okay. Coffee. Alright, so let's answer Robin B's question. So, I showed last week I got the Farm to Garden wall hanging from Fat Quarter Shop. It's by Carrie Nelson. This one finishes up, I think, 24 by 24? 26 by 26. So, it's meant to be wall hanging, but it could be like a small lap throw. So I've got the first 2 rows done. And the blocks are all the same. So here's a block. And I'm so proud of how these are looking. My seams, for the most part, my seams at my corners are lined up the way they're supposed to be, which makes me very happy. I did increase my stitch length from a 2.5 to a 3. To help me get over the bulk on the back here with these half square triangles. And it seems to have worked pretty darn well. Here's another one. This one the iron was leaving iron marks before I cleaned it. So it just adds to the vintagey feel. At least that's what I'm telling myself. There's this one, which I was super proud. I got the triangles to line up so that the bees were all facing the same direction. The bees! And I'm trying different things out with all of the stripey-do ones. So like this one, I put all the stripes going this direction. But on this one, I did all the stripes going so that the stripes were pointing to the center. Or sort of. No, I didn't. I don't know what I did there. I have them going different directions. Here's this one. Nope, that's how, because that's the bees. And then this one, I have the stripes going a different direction from the first one. So I've got 3 left to do, and then I can sew them together. And then I think I'm actually going to use, since it's going to be a wall hanging, so it's not going to be really needed, I think I'm going to use flannel instead of batting because that's a little cheaper. So that's, I think, how I'm going to use that, and then I've got to buy my backing fabric. But it only needs, what, 5/8 of a yard? 7/8 of a yard. And the backing that this one is out of print, so I'm just going to find probably a solid or something in Walmart. I'm not too picky. I know that's probably awful of me, but on these ones that are not going to be, like, used on beds or whatnot, I really don't feel the need to spend the extra money on fancier backing. There you go. Alright, so what did I work on this week? Well, I'm glad you asked. So, first I worked on chickens. I got 300 stitches in on it. So I got the 2 little ducks, or 2 little chickens here. I've named them Lucy and Ethel. And the rooster got started, and I've named him Roger. So my plan next month is going to be to finish up Roger, I think. So I'm really enjoying this one. I think it's real pretty. So here's the full pattern. And then what I'm probably going to do, once the center part is done, I'm probably going to split it into quadrants. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think that's probably how that's going to end up getting broken down. But I just love this one so much. It's got such pretty colors. All right. So that's chickens. That finished that goal. I worked on Zodiac. I'll take this out of the Q-snap for the moment. Okay. So I think I may have had the frames done last week, but if I didn't, here it is with all of the frames done, as well as the little black hole Starby-Doos and the little smaller Starby-Doos. And then I've got started on the moon phases. So I should be able to finish the moon phases by the end of the month at work. If not, I may take a day or two and just bang them on out. And then I've just got the last 4 characters, which will be my goal next month to finish this. So probably what I'll do is I will pick a weekend day and do one of those in each weekend day and just finish this on out that way. Which is exciting. So here's where it is. The Starby-Doos and such, they show up so much better in person. I love this fabric. It's whimsical winter, but it doesn't photograph terribly well. But I'm real happy. So I'm looking forward to this one being done. That way I can pull out one of my many other Cloudsfactory designs that I've got started and maybe finish that up. Or pick out another cell that I started and haven't finished. We'll see. Who knows? It's me. It could be anything. Okay. Alright. Then I got in my start on StitchAsia. Originally, I had planned to do the Frosted Pumpkins Chinese Zodiac, but it's so similar to the Cloudsfactory Zodiac that I was kind of not looking forward to working on it as much as I wanted to. And then the attack happened Wednesday. For those that aren't aware, and I apologize for those of you who find this sort of thing annoying, but you're just going to have to deal with it. There was a horrible attack in Atlanta by, of course, a white man, because that's all these ever are, on 3 Asian-owned establishments. 8 people were killed, 6 of them were Asian women. The police officer said that he was just having a bad day, which I'm here to tell you, I've had bad days and I've never killed anybody. So there's better ways of handling bad days. And we need to quit excusing these white men of their domestic terrorism and their racism by saying, oh, they're misunderstood. Oh, ba-da-da-da. No, they're just racist fucks. Pardon my language. So I decided that as much as I do love the Frosted Pumpkin, and they've done their research, they've done everything perfectly, I felt like personally doing StitchAsia with a design by 2 white women was not in the right spirit. At least I believe they're both white. I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, then by all means I do apologize. But so I went back to the wonderful Abby Bella Stitch, to her Instagram feed, and found, I was looking through the different designers that are actually Asian designers. And one of the ones was, and I believe it's pronounced Gera, it may be Gera. I'm going to get because unfortunately I've done so little of it that the full pattern is going to be necessary to see what the heck I'm talking about. Once it loads. Hello, Dropbox. Go away. Okay, so her name is Kyoko Maruoka. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. She's a Japanese designer, and she did this beautiful... She's got really pretty kind of different style designs. And she did hers on blue, but it's Anne Frank. And it has the quote, "In spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart." And it's Anne in the house. It's got the bookcase doorway. I believe the plaid is the plaid that her journal was done in, or her diary. And I thought it was just absolutely gorgeous, and it really spoke to what happened Wednesday, what's going on still in the world, and how all I can do at the end of the day, for everything that I can do, I'm still trying to remain hopeful that change for the better can happen. So I started that. I'm doing it on a purple. I didn't have the right color blue. But then I read that in some Asian cultures, now granted, this is internet research, so take this with a grain of salt, I may be wrong. But what I found was that in some Asian cultures, purple is considered a symbol of hope. So I thought this beautiful purple, which is a random purple from my stash that someone gave me, no clue what it is other than it's 32 count Jovelin. And it's showing very blue on here, but it's really a nice purple. So I got her head done. I used gassed soot for her hair. I'm going to use a lot of hand dyes with this. Her skin, I went with this sharded DMC, and the plaid I'm going to do in the DMC because I don't want it to get muddy. And then my white will be DMC because I prefer the whites like that. Actually, it's 712. So that's my little start on her. If there's time at the end of the month, I will come back and I will finish. My plan is to finish at least her body. But if not, then I will come back. Then next month, my goal is going to be to get at least her and the stuff right around her done. So, but it's a really pretty piece. You can get the pattern at creativepoppy.com. I'll put the link down below. A word to the wise about Creative Poppy. They password protect all of the patterns that you buy from them. So if you've got Dropbox, what I do is I rename those patterns with the password in the file name. So that way I don't have to go digging to find the password every time I use it. Pardon my hiccups. All right, so that brings us to what am I going to do today? Well, today I am going to work on my Woodland Faerie because my goal was 1 weekend today. So this seems like a good one because next weekend Sense and Sensibility comes out. So this is kind of my last shot for the month. So here's where I'm at. I got up to this little top part with this light pink. So I'm going to continue on up to I should get to the very top tip of her wing, so we'll see if I've got enough fabric. Really hope I do. But here she is. This is on Enchanted Forest Opal from Under the Sea Fabrics. And I'm just going to keep plugging away at the wings. So... And then at some point I'll go back in and I'll do my leaves. But that'll be for another time. Because I've still also got to backstitch the leaves that are up here. I don't think there's anything that goes up. Ooh. Well, some of the beady things do. Okay, well, after I work the tip, I may come over here and do my back stitch and work on the leaves on the top. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. I'll finish out the pink part of the wings and then go from there. So, yeah. So that's that. All right, so that's what I'm going to work on today for sure. I definitely plan to finish up my last 3 quilt blocks this week. And then get the top part of the quilt assembled, and then hopefully maybe even finish that up over the weekend. So, all right, well... that's kind of it for me today. As always, drop the Q&A. You know I love it. I hope everyone has a terrific week, and I will see y'all next time.